Hi there, my name is Julie from Excelsior College. I'm taking a teaching course and this is my teaching assignment. Hi there, how are you? Just want to
Hi.
welcome you to class.
Thank you.
Is it comfortable in here, cold or too hot for you?
No, it's fine.
If you want, there's bathrooms down the hall, there's water and coffee in the back. You can just go help yourself, you don't need to ask.
Okay.
If you don't understand anything, just let me know. And just stop me at any time, okay?
I will.
Just tell me a little bit about yourself, break the ice. We'll go around the room.
My name is Peggy Smith. I'm 24 years old. I have 3 kids,
Oh,
ages 2, 4, and 6. My background, well, I'm black. My mother was white. My father was black. He was half Indian,
oh,
half black. And I grew up in Washoe, South Carolina.
there you go, so you're a Southern girl.
Yes.
Well, a little bit about me. My name's Julie. I've been a nurse for 35 years. I'm currently taking my bachelor's component for my nursing, and this class is part of that teaching component. So let me just get right into it. I am presenting something that you chose off of Healthy People 2020, and out of all the choices, there's one under injury, and what falls under that is domestic violence. And since that's so prevalent in South Carolina, I thought that might be a good thing to go over. I have a few pamphlets for you. You have one on your desk. And these two are from Safe Harbor. That's one of the local resources that we have here for anybody in domestic violence, which is also called intimate partner violence. Safe Harbor gives women a safe place to go. And there's lots of businesses in the area. QT is one of the bigger, the gas station chains or salons, maybe your hair salon. If you go and you say that I need help, they will give you resources and give you safe haven and give you assistance, and they know who to call to help you. Julie Valentine is another local resource in town. This is more for sexual violence, and they're a great resource. They've got all sorts of things to help you. My friend Sharon Tothrow owns Domestic Violence Association, DVA.org, and that's a local 501c charity. And she specializes more in giving items to people who have to bug out and leave home in a hurry. She'll give formula for babies, really no monetary things, but mattresses, clothing, things like that. But she was abused herself. She's a survivor. Her jaw was broken. She's had multiple surgeries. So it's something very close to her heart. And she gives some good advice in here that we'll go over. So let me just pick hers first. In 2015, 46 women were murdered by men. A few years back, South Carolina ranked number 2 in the nation for the number of women killed due to domestic violence. Now, a few years ago, 2015, it's more like we rank number 5. So we've gotten a little better, but we still are one of the most prevalent states. The method by which men usually kill women in South Carolina is at the hand of a gun. 72% of the women murdered were either wives, ex-wives, girlfriends, or ex-girlfriends. So some of the signs of an abuser that she lists, the man might isolate you from your family and friends, threaten you with weapons. They might destroy your personal property. It's control. They become verbally abusive. And that they could be there's emotional abuse, physical abuse, and verbal abuse. They usually have a history of abuse. People don't change their spots. So if he abused in the past, he has a good prevalence that he might continue to abuse. They get extremely jealous where you go, who you're talking to. They overreact on small things, insignificant things. And they have unpredictable mood swings. They seem charming to others. They'll be very suave and charismatic. But when they get home, you know that they're a totally different person. You may have had friends that have been involved in domestic violence. They might put you down, call you names, slap you, hit, punch, even shoving. They generally have problems with authority figures in general. Maybe they don't appreciate police. They don't think that the rules apply to them. They just don't like authority in general, either presidential, political, police, the teachers, they probably had trouble in school all their life. They tell you nobody else will want you. If you leave me, nobody else is going to want you, so you might as well stay. And they'll threaten. They'll threaten to hurt you, your children, your family, friends, your pets, even himself. They threaten, I'm going to kill myself, and then in hopes to reel you back in. So that's a good resource there. The Julie Valentine Center, if you have any sexual abuse, they have places to go, psychiatrists, forensic examiners, things like that. Okay. Safe Harbor is probably the most applicable place to go. And they're right in town. They have 3 shelters right here in Greenville, South Carolina, in the upstate. And they have a crisis hotline, confidential shelters, in traditional housing. Nobody knows where they are. They're in undisclosed locations. They have classes for teen dating awareness and domestic violence education. So they encourage to have a safe plan, which I'll give more tidbits about later. But you might tell a trusted friend or a coworker or neighbor about what your problems are, so that if anything happened, they can recall and say, yes, that so-and-so spoke of that, and you might want to look at the husband or the boyfriend. During an argument, stay near an exit. Avoid kitchens and bathrooms. That's a safety issue because of knives or sharp objects, the tile, if they slammed your head or anything like that. So just avoid those areas. Seek counseling support and legal counsel. I would like to empower you that you have value and you're worth helping. So don't think that you have to ever put up with this abuse. And I hope that you're able to find it in yourself to speak out if you ever were involved in that. Have an escape plan with your children, when to go, where to go, who to call. Pack a bag. Have a bug out kit for your babies with diapers, formula, a little bit of cash. Maybe you can siphon out a few dollars every week and put together a little nest egg if you ever need to leave. Have a spare key or a hide-a-key outside somewhere. If they confiscate anything that you have, you wouldn't be able to leave. Have a code word with your sister, mother, friend. It just might be something simple like, yeah, I hope to see you next Christmas. And that to them means that something's wrong and they can call 911 on your behalf. Call 911, of course, if you're in immediate danger, and seek medical attention if you need that. So don't feel like you're alone. 1 in 4 women in the United States experience domestic violence. Nearly 3 out of 4, 75% of American citizens know someone who has been an abuse victim. I have myself. I got my arm broken. And if you think they'll change, they won't. It starts out with small things, and then it escalates into more and more abuse. If you witness violence in someone else, I hope that you would also help that person and call. It goes from one generation to the next. So if your daughters grow up and see that abuse is normal, they might be more apt to think it's acceptable behavior for themselves, and it's not. 1 in 3 teenagers report knowing a friend or a peer who has been punched, kicked, slapped, choked, or physically hurt by the partner. Matter of fact, right here in South Carolina, a girl most recently got her bottom lip bit off. And the boyfriend had been trying to reel her back in and get her back. And when I mean bit it off, she has a scar almost from ear to ear trying to put it back together. Or throwing hot water on people. There's been plenty of incidences right here in South Carolina. Like I said, it could be physical abuse, hitting, slapping, kicking, pushing, biting, choking, any use of weapons, throwing objects at you, sexual abuse, forcing you to have sex when you're not willing, forceful or harmful. Emotional abuse would be put-downs, name-calling, threats, stalking, extreme jealousy, possessiveness. They try to isolate you from your family and friends so that they can't help you. And they just it's just about control. They try to control your activities, your whereabouts. They always want to know where you're going. They might check the odometer in your car and say that you went, 12 miles and you only went to Walmart that's 3 miles down the road. Where did you go? Checking how much money you have, giving you an allowance, checking the bank for small, purchases. Where did you spend $12? Did I tell you you could buy that lipstick? That type of thing. And isolation, like I said, from your family and friends. They just try to control your environment so that nobody else knows what's going on, and then you get distance between you and your family and friends, and they don't know what's going on and they can't help you. And of course, like I said, control of your finances. So, just a little bit about the the pre-test that you took. I know that you didn't know. We talked about some of the things. We'll finish talking about everything. I know that you said one risk factor is having a low education, that you just don't have good job opportunities, and the man might prevent you from leaving in a car. So we'll go over the post-test afterwards and see how we fare after we go over the information. So there is a national hotline for abuse. You can use that as a resource in addition to what I showed you there. And let's see. Okay, so just to go over 4 things. We'll just recap on what domestic violence is, warning signs of abuse, what an unhealthy relationship consists of, and if we have time, a healthy relationship, what that consists of. So domestic violence, again, is a pattern of behavior. It's not just once, it's a pattern. They try to gain or maintain power or control over an intimate partner. It could be economical, emotional, psychological, which is mental, physical, or sexual. They try to influence you. And it affects people of all socioeconomic backgrounds and education levels. However, if you have a low education and you're working in a remedial job, not making enough money, you might not have the resources that someone of a higher education or higher pay scale would have in means of escape and that type of thing. When you have children, you're going to worry about the child. You don't want any harm to come, so you might bear more harm to yourself to try to keep things placid so that your children don't get harmed. So again, they try to control by making all the decisions, control the access to the money, humiliate you in front of other people, blame you for every little thing that goes wrong, besides the physical and the threatening. They destroy property, abuse. They might even abuse your pet. And of course, forcing you to have sex when you don't want to. We went over that. So some more warning signs of abuse. Can you think of any? A warning sign of abuse?
Well, like if they take your phone,
right,
and always going through
your phone,
mm-hmm.
to see who you're talking to,
yes.
Photos and all that, right? So, in the beginning they push for quick involvement. They want to, get into a relationship very quickly. I've never loved anybody else like this before. Excessive jealousy. They might call you constantly or visit unexpectedly to pop in on you. Prevent you to going to work because you might meet somebody. If they show up at your work, that's really bad. That's threatening your job, and some men do that. Controlling behavior. They might interrogate you, which means they're just prying you for information intensely, especially if you're late. Walmart's only 7 minutes down the road and it took you 20 minutes to get home. Where were you for the other 15 minutes? That type of thing. They want you to ask permission to do anything, even small things. Unrealistic expectations, maybe about keeping the house clean. They just want you to be perfect. They might accuse people who support you, like your family and friends, of causing trouble, always trying to pry and meddle. It's always your fault. Instead of saying, this made me angry, they'll say, you made me angry. You're hurting me by not doing what I tell you to do. They're hypersensitive. They're oversensitive. They're easily insulted, claiming hurt feelings when they're angry. Again, cruelty to animals or children, that's a telltale sign. They might whip a small child for maybe wetting the bed or doing something that a child normally might do, or maybe a pet. Excessive use of force during sex, maybe throwing you down, holding you down against your will, and being, like I said, forceful. Verbal abuse might include degrading, cursing, calling you ugly names. Of course, this always happens in private, not in front of everybody else. He tries to look suave in front of everyone else in public. He may admit to hitting a mate in the past, but he always claims that the girl made him do it. And he might say things like, "I'll break your neck," and then they always apologize. "Oh, I didn't mean it. Go buy you a dozen roses." And they always try to apologize. Unhealthy relationships are based upon power and control. Coercion, that's a good one, trying to force you into doing something that you don't want to do. Threats, intimidation, put-downs, isolation. Even abuse could be social too. I'm just trying to go through and see what we didn't discuss yet. Using passion to justify his actions. He'll say that, "Oh, I just love you so much that I just became angry and wrapped my hand around your neck." Use intimidation to get what they want. That's part of coercion. Manipulation. They're very manipulative. They might force you to have an abortion. That's a good one. Some women. They don't want to handle the stress that comes along with that or the responsibility, so they'll push for an abortion when the woman might not want to otherwise. They might abandon you in unfamiliar areas. That happened to me. We were up in Washington State in a tractor trailer. I was almost 9 months pregnant and got left at a truck stop, not knowing if I had a ride back from one side of the United States to the other. That happened. And then they deny abuse. Of course, you come in with a black eye, it wasn't them, right? Make you doubt yourself. They might put you down. You're ugly. Look at the way you dress. Nobody else would love you. You're stupid. They might not want you to get a job, or if you get a job, they might not want you to continue working or go to school events, or school. They might not want you to get an education and develop, advance yourself. They try to control what you wear. If they don't like you putting on something sexy, that might be a threat to them. So in contrast, a healthy relationship is made up of respect, honesty, trust, and communication. It's a partnership, and it still allows you to be together but each be individuals and maintain your independence and the ability to make your own decisions. Healthy relationships are based upon economic equity. So fair is fair. If you are both earners, you both have decisions that you can make regarding work, money, your school, and other financial matters. So there's emotional honesty, sexual respect, mutual respect, physical safety. They listen to each other for understanding. There's lots of compromise. You feel safe, like a safe haven, like you can share with that person and confide in them to share your feelings, that you have the freedom to say no. Each takes personal responsibility for their actions, and they're sensitive to each other's needs. As far as partnership goes, they share responsibilities, joint decision-making, safety, physically, emotionally, and sexually. They respect partner space. They don't go through the man's toolbox or your jewelry box looking for little evidence. They respect the partner's space. And sexual boundaries. So you each have boundaries too. You know how far to go, but you wouldn't dare, say, paint the house without checking in with your husband, that type of thing. It's about being 50-50 in a relationship. You can take no for an answer sometimes. And you communicate non-violently. So you're able to discuss things without becoming violent. And you try to be sensitive to the other person's needs. Actually, a good relationship, you would want that other person, you worry about them more than you worry about yourself. You give them the ability to spend time alone with their family and friends, maintain privacy in personal technology like phones, tablets. They're not going through your photos. And they engage in separate hobbies and activities. So the